Welcome to the 7-day Rise Up activation. In this activation, I'm going to present to you some very unique ideas from other profound people that are in science and meditation and have data and presented ways to create and manifest with ease and grace. And so we're going to be using some of these tools and techniques and put together in one system to help you manifest with ease and grace exactly what it is you desire. And as we go through this Rise Up activation, the most important thing to do is to practice. And the reason that I say practice is because for many, many years, however old you are, let's just say you're in your 50s, you've had 50 years of conditioning. And in those 50 years of conditioning, those are thoughts, beliefs, evidence to prove that your beliefs are real and true, and then feelings that go along with that. The National Science Foundation did a study, and in their study, they said that the average person has between 2,500 and 3,300 thoughts per hour. Of those thoughts, those thousands of thoughts, 80% of those thoughts were negative, and 95% of those thoughts were the same thoughts as the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that. So that study by the National Science Foundation gives evidence to show that we've really conditioned ourselves for a lot of negativity, and that we are human operating machines, meaning our brains are a pattern and recognition storage system. So for us to become the person that we've always desired to be, we've got to recondition our brain, recondition our heart, recondition the feelings and the subconscious programmings that are happening inside of us already. So let me illustrate this. You may right now say, this is my current situation. And in my current situation, I'm not getting what I want, meaning that maybe you're not making the amount of money that you'd like to have. Maybe you don't have the amount of happiness you wished. Maybe with everything that's going on in the world, you just feel cramped and isolated with your family, and people are starting to, quite frankly, get on your nerves. So with our current reality, we have certain feelings that we feel, and those feelings may be frustration, dissatisfaction, sadness, grief, loneliness. In those feelings, we have thoughts that accompany those. Maybe those thoughts are, I'm not sure when this is going to end. I'm frustrated. I can't stand this much longer. Woe is me. This is driving me nuts. Those thoughts and feelings are creating a particular frequency inside of you. Everything in the world is vibration. In our vibrational frequency, if we are in a frequency of sadness, grief, frustration, anger, that is going to affect, number one, how we feel, how our physiology works. It's going to affect our autonomic nervous system that regulates over 90% of our body's functions, and it's going to affect how other people perceive us. And so what we desire many times is we say, okay, I'm aware that I don't like where I am right now, and I desire to be somewhere else. I desire to be happy. I desire to have more money. I desire to get along with my spouse or my children. Well, what gets in the way of us having this versus this are all kinds of things in here that we may be unconscious or unaware of. And so typically what people do is inside of this space here is they look for ways to shift their consciousness. And that might be exercise, it may be food, it may be binge watching Netflix to change how they're currently feeling. It may be drugs or alcohol. And when I say drugs, it could be prescription drugs, it could be recreational drugs. You get the picture. We look for something outside of us to shift us. So in this Rise Up activation, What we are going to focus on is we are going to focus on the relationship between the heart and the brain. When we are in a coherent state, meaning that our feelings in our heart are aligned with the thoughts in our brain, then we're at a completely different frequency and we can activate much easier. So remember, we've had years and years of conditioning. And in these thoughts and feelings, they are typically negative, as the National Science Foundation has done the study on. So what we're going to do in this next 7 days is we are going to write out the new thoughts and the new feelings that are in alignment with who we desire to be. So for example, if you're in the real estate business and you have lots of properties that aren't being occupied, let's say that your line of business is vacation rentals with a lot of your properties, and you'd like to fill those vacation rentals, what thoughts and feelings are you going to emulate to manifest your desired end state? So the first thing that we're going to do in this first day challenge is write out exactly what you would like to manifest. Now here's the key. When you write out what you'd like to manifest, the key is that you write it out as though it's already happened. So the thoughts and the language that you use are activating what it is you desire. So for example, the 5 properties that I own are now rented and I have the perfect tenants. So your thoughts create your desired end state. And then the feeling that you have with that is, how do I feel now that my vacation properties are rented out? So when you go to the end state, you may feel, I'm relieved, I'm happy, I'm confident now. And in that, when you're doing that, what ends up happening is those thoughts now are lined inside your brain. My properties are rented out. The feeling that you have is, I'm happy, I'm relieved. So the feeling matches your thought. And what we're going to do is continue to condition this. Because what's going to happen inevitably, you may be into this rise up activation 3 days in and a contract falls through. What you thought of being the perfect tenant, all of a sudden withdraws and says, I can't do it anymore. What ends up happening is now we have evidence in the field to show that this does not work. And all of a sudden those programmings from the past kicks you out from over here in your desired end state, and it brings you all the way back over here, and now you're in that familiar pattern and recognition. This doesn't work, woe is me. And when you're in that, that wreaks havoc on your physiology. That's when you start to feel sick, overwhelmed, stressed. And so we've got to continuously condition and practice being in our desired end state. So during this activation challenge, it's not just meditation in the morning for 10 minutes and maybe 10 minutes in the evening. It's plugging in all day long to the feeling. Plugging in, plug in, plug in. Set your alarms maybe every hour on the top of the hour for 2 minutes. Plug into your desired end state. So the assignment is go ahead and write out where you would like to be at the end of the 7 days, what your thoughts are, using the thoughts as though the goal has already been accomplished, and the feelings that go with that. Okay, we'll see you on the next one.